Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is Hunter here, and I just want to go ahead and give my quick thoughts on something that comes out on August 18th that to say that I am tickled pink to see would be a mild understatement. So, what Netflix has been doing with the Marvel shows, with the exception of Iron Fist, by the way, I've had a couple of people ask me. I have not finished Iron Fist. I got to episode 9. I got all the way to episode 9 the Friday that it came out, and I have not been able to finish it. I got to episode 9, and I have no motivation to finish the show, so I think that kind of puts a perfect spin on how I feel about Iron Fist. But with that said, though, Jessica Jones, I think, is one of the best first seasons of anything I've ever seen, and I say the exact same thing for Luke Cage. I genuinely fell in love with not just those characters all over again. Alias is one of my favorite graphic novels slash comics, and I think Luke Cage as a character has been one of those characters who has been uh, greatly developed over the last 15 years by Marvel after having about 2 decades of not doing a great job with him. So to say that I'm not horribly excited about what they're going to do with the Defenders would be a very big understatement. So, just to kind of jump in here, as the trailer starts, we get to see Kristen Ritter, of course, playing Jessica Jones. She's in an interrogation room, which tends to almost be standard for her. And she's being interrogated by, of course, Misty Knight from Luke Cage. And so, what I'm curious about this exchange, first off, it's two damn good actresses getting to play off each other. And secondly, Misty Knight mentions that Jessica got her informant killed. So I'm really curious if this is tied into Luke Cage and trying to get him at Seagate, or maybe this is something Jessica is just doing by herself through Alias investigations, or maybe there are a lot of definite avenues they could go down. So I'm very curious how they're gonna go ahead and kind of play that up. But then, of course, they are interrupted by Matt freaking Murdock, Daredevil himself. So, uh, again, it's very intriguing to see how they're gonna kind of tie everything together. And then we go ahead and we jump to Luke Cage being, looks like he's busting back from Seagate. So, spoiler, looks like Luke Cage is getting out of prison, as if no one saw that coming. But uh, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they get him out of Seagate. If you remember, by the way, spoilers for all the seasons of these shows, in case that was not evident by the fact that I'm reviewing the Defenders trailer. So, you know that Luke Cage season 1 ended with Luke being hauled back off the Seagate because he had time that he hadn't gone ahead and completed. But if you also remember at the very end, there was that file really clearing him that was left in the barbershop, that was left at Pop's. So I'd be curious if that got in the hands of Matt Murdock somehow, or maybe Claire gave it to Matt, or Jessica has it. Like, I'm very curious what happened to that file, because we know that file is somewhere. So very interesting to see how they're going to get Luke out. And then we actually go ahead and we break into later on in the trailer. It looks like Danny Rand, aka Iron Fist, is chasing this informant down. Luke goes ahead and intervenes, and of course Danny tries to use his kung fu. Luke just drops him. But then, in a great callback to Luke Cage, where one of Cottonmouth's goons tried to go ahead and punch Luke in the face, and he broke his wrist on his freaking skull, we get to see Danny go ahead and summon the Iron Fist power and punch Luke, and you see that slow mo of his lips and jaw moving from the punch. I just think that's such a badass shot. So then we really kind of get the breakdown with Stick's voiceover breaking down, the demon of Hell's Kitchen, the smartass detective, the self-righteous ex-con, and the kid with the glowing fist. And this really, even though it's the first full trailer, it really depicts that this is a legit war. And I think one of the ways they're doing that, which definitely have mixed feelings on, is the fact that the hand is very prominently shown here because we do get to see the resurrection of Elektra, which. So here's my thoughts on that. I thought the way that she was killed off, very true to the comics, I thought was actually really, really well done. I would have almost rather them hold off on Elektra till Daredevil season 3. I don't like the fact that she's just back so quickly, but it's Defenders, so I'm sure there's a reason because they're using the hand and all that. So I get why they're doing it. I'm just not super thrilled about it. But hell, who knows? Maybe they have some marvelous plan and they know exactly what they're doing. But from but just for me, I'm just not super crazy about that from jump. But with that said, though, then it just breaks into a montage of seeing these characters that we love kind of doing their thing. We get to see Matt Murdock, Daredevil, doing this like back flip kick, which looks awesome. We get to see, of course, the trailer ends with hallway fight because why wouldn't it? And it looks fantastic. And we get our first real shot of Sigourney Weaver, which playing. And that's another thing. They have not mentioned who the hell she's playing. They're saying she's playing Alexandra. That's all they've said. And what I have read online and what I actually have been saying pretty much since they kind of announced her is that I think she might be playing Mephisto, because if you look at how the characters get knocked back here at a point in the trailer, and that you see all these cars on the street like lifting and being shaken, it does seem like there's a lot more Sigourney Weaver's character in meets the eye. Plus, why do you get Sigourney Weaver if you're not going to do something just incredibly badass with her? So I'm curious. I'm really curious what they're going to do, and it seems like they're definitely holding a lot of what her character is to the chest, close to the chest. But it's Sigourney Weaver. She's one of the best actresses probably in the last 30 years, so she'll be fine in whatever she's doing. So really curious what they're going to do with her. So especially just the line she drops where she says, the more connections you have, the easier it will be to break you. That's a fucking ominous line, and just the fact that it's Ripley delivering it, just genuine chills. So I'm really curious how they're going to balance all this. I'm a little hesitant just because it is the Defenders, and I mean that because Iron Fist is a part of this equation, and while it was cool to see him bounce off that wall and punch someone in the face, Iron Fist is a character that I've been just completely underwhelmed by, and he's gonna have to factor into this plot. And honestly, he'll probably factor in more than I might even like, because he's the one who has probably the most contact with the hand, just from what I've seen in Iron Fist so far. So not sure how I'm gonna feel about that. Not sure if they'll be able to make me actually like Iron Fist, because so far I think he's a douche. But stranger things have happened. Hell, so this is August 18th. I mean, it'll be here really before you know it. I mean, what, 3 months? June, July, August. Yeah, 3 months away, really, till we get this. So I'm curious. I'm hopeful. There has not been a Marvel Netflix series that, well, besides Iron Fist, that I have hated. So they're almost playing with house money at this point. Marvel would really have to screw this up, which I don't think they will. So yeah, curious to see how they're going to balance everything. Curious how this will set up the other shows. They've already announced a Daredevil season 3. We've already got Luke Cage season 2 announced, and they're actually shooting Jessica Jones season 2 as we speak. They've already started filming that. So maybe this ties into Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Maybe they make that Heroes for Hire, which I think would probably be smart, so we don't have to get a fucking Iron Fist season 2, which I do not want. But but we'll see. Who knows? So August 18th, this comes out. We'll will damn sure have a review up, even if I have to do it myself. But guys, let us know. Let me know what you're thinking about the Defenders. Are you excited? Are you a little nervous like I am? Comment below here. Subscribe to us here on SoundCloud at the Real Pineapple 775. Follow us on the Twitter, or follow me on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearman the First, and you can follow Colin on Twitter at The Real, that's REEL O'Neill, and like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. I will have finally, this weekend up my long overdue, what will be a first, I think it might be the first of a series of what I would do, just kind of some fancy booking. So the first thing up will be with the announcement of the new X-Men TV show. I believe it's called Gifted, is what they're calling it for right now, which has been ordered straight to series, so we're getting that next year. How I would improve the X-Men movie, so we will have a review up for Snatch, the new Amy Schumer movie, which, you know, yay. We'll have a review up for Split, and we'll also have a review up for Monster Trucks, because I know everyone wants to hear our thoughts on Monster Trucks. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you guys soon.